Hello and welcome to another Monkey's Motors video. Today I'm finally getting around to making my video about the crash I had just under 4 years ago on 7th of March 2012. So this is my old bike, the Suzuki GSX 650F. So it's pretty much a Bandit made to look like a GSXR. This is the stretch of road on which I crashed it. It's the A251 between Faversham and Ashford. I was riding to work in the morning like I always do, just finished an overtake on a car, was come back into my lane, slowing down to meet normal traffic speed. The front lost grip and I went down. The bike went out to the left, so I kind of fell down on my right side, tumbled along, crossed oncoming traffic, which there was, Silver Golf, I can remember that quite clearly, and then off the road, just past that big log, pretty much where my mum is standing, that's my mum, went off the road there and down like a little ditch into a wooded area. So this is a better view of the ditch I went off into. Lots of nice pointy sticks, one of which entered my leg, but we'll get to that. And this is the view from the ditch across. If you squint, you might see some little police tape wrapped around one of those trees. That's where my bike ended up. So my bike stayed in its lane, carried on straight down the road on its side. It went down on the right and stayed on the right, so it went down the road and then people dragged it off to the side of the road, and that's where the police tape was put around it. Close up of the police tape, interesting. And then this is the bike itself. So I personally didn't take these pictures, these were taken like the day after the crash. I was still in hospital, so they're not the best of pictures, but so this is, obviously you can see the front of the bike's a bit smashed, and then this is the only other picture I have of the bike in situ before it got recovered, and then it was written off, so I never saw it again. And yeah, there's it on its side, so it doesn't look that bad on that side, but obviously I come off about 60 and it went down on the right, stayed on the right, so I'm guessing there's quite a bit missing on the other side of the bike. Ignore the rusty chain, it's hard work riding for the winter. So yeah, after my crash, once I got out to hospital I could walk again, went on a bit of a rummage through the woods, found my visor. So as you can see, all scratched up. My visor was ripped off during the crash, so yeah, that's why it's still there. The helmet obviously came with me to the hospital. That's the very end of my front brake lever. I found that embedded in the road. I've still got it in a box. This is my, I think it's called a movie micro cam, I can't remember. You think I'd looked it up, but I haven't. This was what I used to have inside my helmet. So you know, you've got your helmet, and then just like beside your eye there's a little flat bit of polystyrene covered in fabric, and that's where I had it velcroed to the inside of my helmet. But obviously during the crash, visor ripped off, camera came out, and SD card came out of the camera. Never found that. This is my helmet, AGV helmet, held up pretty good. So I've kind of balanced the visor back on for this picture, and all these pictures were taken, well, 4 years ago now. So as you can see, quite a bit of mud in the helmet. Some of the clips off the air vents gone, but the helmet's did its job, kept me alive. These are my old boots, Berwick boots. They held up not too bad. A lot of the metal had scuffs on it, as you can see here. A lot of the metal worn away, but still there, kept me sliding down the road. The actual soles, not soles, the rubber bit on the bottom of the shoe, whatever that's called, the tread, that came off a bit at the front. And actually, so I crashed wearing my winter textile gear, so all my leathers were fine. So when I finally got back into riding, I had all my leathers, leather gloves, didn't have a helmet, which I could borrow, but I actually wore these boots when I was first getting back into biking, test riding bikes. I just put duct tape around the end, a bit slippery, but it worked. Heel sliders again, some metal chipped off, but boots held together pretty well. Other boot, so this is also quite scuffed. As you can see, the metal's wore down quite a bit. And then the other heel with a bit of mud. It's very detailed in my photographic cataloguing of the incident. These are my gloves that I had at the time. Akito, whatever that's called. So, you know, when I first got into biking, I just kind of grabbed whatever gear was in the shop. I didn't really know brands, but it all did its job-ish. So these were my winter gloves, waterproof, nice and thick, but not very heavily armoured. As you can see, they took a bit of a beating in the crash. Had some scuffs on quite a lot of my fingers, my little finger being the worst, you'll see that later. Oh yeah, I've got the classic biker scar on your palm where you've gone down on the road and it's worn through the palm. There wasn't much extra padding or leather there at all really, so that wore through pretty quick. And yeah, end of my thumb got scuffed off, and as you can see, that little finger glove's not looking too happy. And then there's a close-up of my little finger, so you'll see in a minute this little finger got smashed up pretty bad, and that was the result. It was quite funny, the adrenaline you have during a crash, because I didn't realise at the time. It was only when I was taking my gloves off to use my phone that I realised that like half of my little finger was kind of flapping off. It was quite funny. Still managed to make the phone call though. This is my jacket. Obviously it's been cut off by the paramedics at the side of the road, so that's why it's all splayed out. But it did an okay job. You can see there's scuffs on the shoulder, a few holes. Most of the holes and tears are at the seams where the stitching wasn't great. One thing I wouldn't recommend, One thing I wouldn't recommend on any biking gear is like little straps that do up with like push popper things, you know, so you kind of tighten it and pop it in, because that just comes off in a crash. And if anything, those little bits of metal that the poppers clip into in your jacket when you're crashing, they just dig into your arm. So yeah, don't get poppers. Straps that kind of tighten, they're good. I guess Velcro's just going to fall apart. What I've got my Spidi gear now, it's kind of, you know how you tighten a bag strap, that's how I tighten the straps on that. And I guess that'll hold together okay-ish during a crash, but those poppers are useless. Here are the trousers, lovely bright orange liners. These did pretty shit job. The most of the damage was obviously to my knee. You can see there's quite a big hole in those trousers, stained with blood. And yeah, I've actually still got the armour from those trousers. You know, they had the armour that slipped to the knee, and that armour is 100% perfect, because it just moved out of the way during my crash. These trousers didn't have any way to fasten it like above and below your knee area, whereas my Spidi ones do. So yeah, it's really important to have really tight fitting armour, because if it's not tight, it'll just move out of the way, and then you end up holes in your knees. This is a close-up of my arse area, I think. Oh no, that's the arse. Yeah, nearly got through, but not just. And then inside of the knee, not that exciting, bit blood. This is all my salvage that I found when scouring the side of the road for the missing camera, which sadly I did find with no memory card. So this is a wing mirror. I guess it would be the left. I don't know, pictures, they flip everything. Anyway, there's a wing mirror. You can see the metal's quite wore down. This is a little bit of the fairing from the front of the bike. Found that. Oh yeah, this is my left indicator. I know that for a fact because you can see the black electrical tape around it. And that was from when I dropped my bike in the past and then smashed the left indicator and repaired it with lots and lots of electrical tape. So yeah. And that is the brake lever once I'd got it out of the road. So I actually got both ends of the levers from that first bike, because yeah, when the smashed indicator incident happened, it also snapped off the end of the clutch lever, which I've got, which is nice and pristine obviously because it just snapped off, whereas this got worn down before snapping off. So I've still got both of my ends of my levers. This is my little movie camera, a few bangs and nicks, and then as you can see, sadly, micro SD card not present, and obviously I'm not going to find that on the side of a road, and if I do, it's not going to work anymore. So that's what I'm saddest about, is the lack of video footage, I reckon. And then this is me 4 years ago, believe it or not. No chance of growing a beard, but I know I look surprisingly happy, and that is because so I came into A&E and I needed surgery on my hand and knee to fix all the problems, all the holes, but as I wasn't dying, I wasn't a very urgent case, so I had to wait for emergency theatres to be free and there to be no one who's dying quicker than me, which took 37 hours. So for 37 hours I didn't eat or drink. They kept me hydrated through a drip. So this is me just out of surgery and just having consumed like 4,000 worth of calories in like gypsy tarts and yogurt drinks, cheese, pate. My like parents had brought in a massive feast and I just shoved it all on my face. So that's why I'm surprisingly happy despite being in hospital. That and the morphine. But as you can see, yeah, broken wrist, big old hole in my knee. Yeah. Anyway, what's next? Oh yeah, so now these are going to be pictures like post-surgery healing, so it's a bit gory, so brace yourself. This is my knee and my hand once it's all been patched up. Sadly I don't have any pictures before they patched it up. The guy in A&E, I did see him take pictures of my wound, but I've never seen those pictures. But anyway, this is it once it's been stitched. Big old arrow, so they got the correct leg. So yeah, when I come off into that wooded area, stick kind of went into my knee a bit. It kind of had come out again during the crash. You know, I didn't wake up with a stick in my knee, but I had a big hole, and they reckon it must have been from a stick, because it was a bit dirty in there. And as you can see, there's my little finger. It's been stitched up back together, and then the bit of road rash on the palm. So that's 3 days after the accident, and then this is jumping ahead a week after that. So this is my little finger. So obviously there wasn't enough skin to put it all back together, so I ended up with a big old hole, and that took like a month to heal over. And then this is the knee a week after the incident. That scabbed up and healed pretty good. Pain was fine really. I had tramadol painkillers, so yeah, I was pretty out of it. Lost quite a lot of fingernails. Nice close up of a missing fingernail. And now this is the knee, so this is on the 23rd, so this is like 2 weeks after the crash. Scabbing up and healing nicely, but then again the little finger not healing so nicely. And then yeah, I went to work about, was it 5 weeks? I think 5 weeks after the crash I was back at work. And then this is my little finger like a couple of days ago. So as you can see, it healed up not too bad. It's a little bit shorter, bit bent, bit squished, but it's still there, still works. So got away with it. And then there's the knee. The knee's completely fine. I wouldn't even know I'd hurt it unless I look at it. There's a bit of a dent in it, but other than that, that's fine. So yeah, that's my long-awaited crash video that I've been putting off for ages, because for some reason I don't like doing this face-to-camera stuff. It's not that I don't like my face being seen, or I don't like talking to a camera. It's just, I don't know, it's such a different experience to when I'm vlogging on the bike. On the bike, helmet on, I go, I'm doing my thing. I'm always recording, so might as well just talk as I go, and there you go, got a video. But this face-to-face stuff, it's a bit different, but I'm getting used to it. Might be more in the future. Any questions? Because I've probably left out loads of important shit. Ask them in the comments below, and I'll answer as quick as possible. Thanks for watching. See you next time.